My best friend secretly stole my girlfriend, but I got revenge on both of them and found myself a much better girlfriend. I was at the bar, like always, sitting in my spot, eating fried chicken, watching a country music show on the TV. It was one of those quiet nights. The kind where everything feels routine, predictable. The show was talking about country legends, people I didn't even know, and it made me think about the past. I wasn't upset, just a little off. Not sad, but not exactly happy either. Just in my own head. I wasn't expecting anything to change. Then Bob walked in. And there she was, Olivia. The one I was supposed to be spending the evening with. But she'd told me earlier she was meeting some friends. I didn't even have time to process it. I saw them walk in, laughing, all too comfortable. Bob and Olivia. I froze for a second. Just stared. I couldn't believe it. This wasn't happening. I had told myself there was no way. But it didn't make sense. Olivia had told me she had plans. She'd lied to me. And Bob? The guy who'd been my best friend, who I'd shared everything with. We had a rule, a code. You don't go after each other's girlfriends. Ever. But there they were. Together. Like it was nothing. I tried to breathe. Tried to tell myself I was just seeing things. But no. The moment my eyes landed on them, I knew. It hit me harder than anything had in a long time. This was real. This was betrayal. Not just from her, but from Bob too. I didn't think about it. I just got up. Walked over to their table. Bob looked up, saw me, and his face went blank. But he didn't say anything. He didn't even stand up. Like I wasn't worth the effort. Olivia just looked at me. There was no guilt on her face. No apology. Nothing. She didn't even seem surprised. I couldn't look at her for long. I just told her it was over. Simple. Clear. No back and forth. Just done. I didn't wait for either of them to say anything. I didn't need to. I turned and walked out. I didn't care about their excuses, or whatever they thought they could say. My phone started buzzing before I even got outside. Bob. Then Olivia. I didn't pick up. I wasn't angry enough to call them out on anything, I was just done. I got in my truck and drove home. It felt like nothing had changed, and yet everything had. I thought maybe I'd feel like I needed to vent, but it wasn't even that. I didn't need to explain anything. I was just over it. Done with them both. I didn't waste time drowning in what happened. I could have spent days thinking about Bob and Olivia, but what was the point? The more I thought about it, the more I realized how little they mattered. So, I threw myself into work. Fitness. Whatever I could do to keep my mind off it. I started going to the gym almost every day. Dropped some weight. Felt better, stronger, like I was actually getting control back. People around me noticed. They'd say things like, "Hey man, you look good." But it didn't even hit me. I wasn't doing it for anyone else. I just wanted to feel like I could breathe again, like I was more than the guy who got screwed over. Work was good too. Focused. Things were steady. Then Alice showed up. She worked in a different department, but I'd seen her around. Always seemed quiet, but I didn't mind it. I wasn't looking for anything, especially not after everything that went down. But Alice? She was different. She didn't push. Didn't try too hard. She was just there, a breath of fresh air in the middle of a shitstorm. We started talking. Casual stuff at first. Work, nothing personal. But I could tell we clicked. It was simple. Natural. She wasn't like Olivia. She didn't lie or play games. And I didn't have to put on a face around her. It was just easy. So I started hanging out with her after work. Sometimes we'd grab coffee. Sometimes a drink at the bar. I wasn't looking to fall for anyone, but the more time we spent together, the more I realized I liked her. Really liked her. It was weird, but it felt right. Months went by. Alice and we grew close. She was kind and strong, and she didn't make me feel like I had to prove myself. She listened, and for once, I didn't feel like I was carrying the weight of the world alone. I took her to the country bar one night, the place I'd spent countless nights with friends. She loved it. I loved that she loved it. It felt like it was our place now, not a reminder of a broken past. We drank, we talked, we laughed, and then I did it. I wasn't thinking too much. I just knew I wanted to. I pulled out the cheap ring I'd bought. Nothing fancy, but it was mine, and it was for her. "Alice," I said, just enough of a pause to let her know what was coming. "I want you to be with me. For real. You're it. I don't want anyone else. She didn't hesitate. Yes, she said. Simple. But in that moment, it felt like everything had finally clicked. We started talking about the future, planning things. Where we'd live. How we'd build it together. It wasn't a fairy tale. No big wedding or crazy dream plans. It was just us, and that felt enough. The next step was bringing Alice to Kentucky to meet my family. My mom, my dad, my cousins. Everyone. The people who had been there when I was young. The ones who'd raised me to respect women, to work hard, and to never, ever put up with bullshit. They loved her immediately. Alice fit in like she had always been part of the family. While we were there, Alice opened up about something from her past. High school. She said I had saved her from a bad situation, something I didn't even remember. But I didn't need to. Just knowing that I had been there when she needed someone. It meant something. More than I could explain. But as we were settling in, back at work, I heard rumors about Bob and Olivia. They were getting married. Not that it was any of my business, but it was hard not to hear. The whole office was buzzing about it. Olivia was pregnant too. That wasn't a shock, given everything that had happened. But what did hit me was Bob. And his situation. The rumors about his financial troubles, the mess he'd gotten himself into. It felt like everything was falling apart for him. I didn't feel sorry for him, not really. He had made his bed. But still, I couldn't ignore it. It seemed like he was spiraling. The idea that I could have been stuck in that world, that life, it didn't sit right. Alice and I talked about it. It was a mess. We both agreed it wasn't our problem anymore. But still, the weight of it lingered. And in the quiet moments, I thought about how far I'd come. I wasn't looking back. Not anymore. I had Alice, and that felt like a real future. The wedding was simple. Not some grand spectacle. Just Alice and me, our families, a few friends, and a day that was all about us. I didn't need a big party or some flashy event to prove anything. We were there, we were real, and that was enough. My parents were happy. Alice was glowing, and I felt proud in a way I hadn't in a long time. It was like we were starting fresh. Everything before Bob, Olivia, the bullshit, was over. Gone. The honeymoon was a surprise from my boss, an all-expenses-paid cruise. I didn't expect it, but it was a gift, and we took it. Alice and I, together, away from everything. Kind of peace I didn't think I'd ever feel. The days on the boat were filled with laughter, drinking on the deck, walking through the markets in the small islands. Everything felt easy. It felt like we were building something real. And yet, somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew things weren't exactly perfect. Because back home, Bob and Olivia's mess was still unraveling. I didn't care about them anymore, but the rumors kept popping up. Bob's financial issues. Olivia's pregnancy. I didn't give a shit about them, but I couldn't ignore the whispers that followed. Then it happened. In the middle of our honeymoon, Alice got a call from a friend. I knew something was up the second she picked up the phone, her face changing as she listened. When she hung up, she turned to me, and I knew. Bob's not the father, she said. I didn't feel any kind of relief or satisfaction. It wasn't about that. It was just the final nail in the coffin. Bob, the guy I had trusted, had been exposed for what he was, a liar, a mess. And Olivia? Well, she was tangled in it too. The rumors weren't just rumors anymore. They were true. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel like a win. It just felt like confirmation of everything I already knew. I wasn't bitter, but I wasn't interested in their drama. I had moved on, and that's all I could focus on. We went back to the apartment after the honeymoon, just Alice and me. We started looking for a place to settle into, something bigger, something ours. It wasn't about a house. It was about the future. The future I had with her. It felt real. Everything before. It was a shadow. And Bob? Olivia? Their drama wasn't mine anymore. I didn't care what happened to them. I didn't need them to suffer for what they did to me. I just knew I had to keep moving forward. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't need closure. I didn't need to fix everything that went wrong. What I needed was peace. And I had it now. I had Alice, and that was all that mattered. I don't know what happened to Bob and Olivia after that. I heard they eventually got married, but things were shaky. I think I even heard about their problems later on. But by then, I was long gone from that part of my life. I was where I needed to be, with Alice, building something better than anything I had before.